Alright guys, we're here with part 2. So, in this part, we're going to be talking about the design key features. And now, I said design key features because just about every key feature that I'm going to mention has to do with the design in some way, shape, or form. Now, starting off, I'm going to start off things I did not mention in the resistors review, which is just to point out a lot of these things, so that's why I'm getting these out of the way first. Number one, the rubberized toe cap. Now, this is obviously not the only thing protecting your toes. These are certified by the CSA, if you guys are in Canada. That is the Canadian Safety Association. So these are obviously going to withstand pretty much, all amounts of pressure to your feet. Now, a few things I want to point out that I noticed over the years of wearing these kind of boots. More specifically with these ones being that, in my opinion, these are very high-end for the consumer market. Like, in terms of, like, your average Joe going to buy a pair of boots, I think these are actually pretty high-end. The toe cap. Now, this isn't going to assume something that is due to the CSA, not the CIA. It ends right here. Right where the stitching is that's where it ends. So, right there, right where the tip of my finger is, there's the last line of stitching towards the outside. That's where that ends. Now, again, that's good because this protects your toes, and then you have another, about a full inch roughly, of toe cap right behind it. The one reason why I don't get this is why wouldn't they, again, you guys can see, I'm pushing down here. That's roughly, so right where the inner part of my thumb is that you guys are looking at, that's where the toe cap ends. And again, I like the way that these boots are implementing the toe cap. However, one thing I would like to point out to the CSA, if you guys know anybody that works for them or know maybe you work for them yourself, if you can explain to me why the toe cap does not go straight across, I would love to know that, because typically speaking, yeah, sometimes you're going to have something that falls. And I do, really quickly, for those of you who are going to point out, well, yeah, there are foot guards that are composite, which essentially you have to lace your laces through them, I believe, or something like that. Or somehow, I don't know exactly how they're attached. I believe it's attached, you got to lace them underneath, and then it covers the laces. And basically, it's, as you'd expect, a composite guard. So it's a really, really large piece that comes down. A lot of boots have it. Some of them have them actually sewn on, and you can unbutton it and remove it in some cases. But I just thought I might point that out really quickly. But looking at this toe guard, I really do got to say that looks like, I don't got to even explain it to you guys. You guys can see that for yourself. That looks absolutely vicious. That's really the only way I can logically think to make this well said. Now, in terms of other features, actually, I'm not sure why I got the camera down. I have to pick it up again. This, I can actually open the box to look at this. So this rear plate here, I'm not sure exactly what the name is in terms of materials. I apologize, my camera's a little bit yeah, my camera's bugging out. My phone's probably warming up a little bit. But essentially, sorry about that, guys. Essentially, this boot is constructed for, I'm going to assume, construction workers. And again, I don't work in construction, so if there's anything on these boots that you see could possibly, interfere with anything, please let me know, because that's something that I'm actually very interested in. I want to know from the eyes of the person working with these as their intended use, as something that's rugged. Me personally, I don't know if waste management and working on a garbage truck really suits that. However, yeah, we do pick up, in my case, at least in my truck, bulk, which is furniture, anything that cannot be put into a bag because it is just too big. So appliances, furniture, things of that nature. That's what goes as bulk. Even renovation and construction materials, drywall or whatever. So again, These boots, I really do got to say, look absolutely. Now this looks. As you guys may hear that, it kind of feels. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly any other way to explain it other than it feels kind of like a graphite. I know it's not the right way to explain it, but that's the only word that I can think of. In terms of quality, though, I do gotta say that's probably one of its nicest key features that I'm noticing with these boots over the resistors. Not saying that the resistors. Let me just focus this properly here. Nothing that the resistors are bad quality, but these are just better quality. And if you guys are paying about $300 plus for these boots, which is what I paid for them, I paid these after tax, came out to about $280 Canadian, and some change. But I would say that they're still worth it, to be honest with you, at that price. And that is not on sale, unfortunately. At least I don't believe it is. It didn't mark them as on sale on the receipt. Or on their website, for that matter. Now, again, the one thing I would love to see these boots, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned on the first part, is these in black. I think would look so much nicer. But, again, that is my opinion. So, next up, the Outsole. This is something that's just slightly different in the sense it's rugged, but not sure how well you guys are going to see this. I'm going to point this out, actually. This is part of the design because I'm not sure exactly why it's implemented this exact way or even how they did it, but if you guys look at the bottom of the sole, you guys will notice that little brown thing. I thought that was dirt, so I went with my knife and I tried to remove it. Then I noticed, hey, what's that? I tried to remove that. Thankfully, I didn't, because that is this. That piece of stitching right there. This is where the bottom of the boot meets the top. This, as I'm going to assume where this meets this, and then obviously you have your three-way stitching there. But just, I think personally that's a very poor place to put that. Or at least stitch it to the inner part, because this is the first place it's going to wear. And once that wears through, that material is going to be rubbing on the ground, and that's probably going to start loosening. And I don't want these boots, especially this part here, to lift. I don't know if that would happen, but to be honest with you, that places a bit of a concern to me. But aside from that, look at how absolutely incredible these outsoles look. This, I'm not sure if that's glow in the dark, just to point that out. I don't think it is, because why the hell is that going to be glow in the dark? I don't know, maybe it is. On the bottom, this is where a lot of boots, or any general footwear, tends to wear down the most. Over here, and over there. So I would have liked to see them pay more attention to that. Now maybe that's why they put a different traction pattern across the front, like the top fifth of the boot and the bottom fifth. But again, in my opinion, I don't think that is suitable for, just general everyday wear. Now, being that these have the TPU cold formula, which is basically the anti-freezing or freeze-resistant formula embedded into this, so these don't freeze when it gets very cold, which, by the way, does work. And essentially what that means as well is not that ice will start to form. Nothing fell. It's not that, again, ice is going to start forming on the bottom of these, but rather that when they get cold, they start to solidify in a sense. There's not going to be as much cushion. That's not the case with these. At least not to where it is very noticeable. Next, waterproofing. This, absolutely incredible. I've stepped easy in about 3 to 4 inches of water, and nothing. Now, anything above where the laces start, so anything above here, I've noticed very slight water seeping through the boot. Now, thinking about it, when you look at the design of the boot, this is like an inlining material, if that makes sense. Water should not penetrate through this. So I don't know. I'm going to try these on while I'm wearing them. I'm actually going to step into my shower with these on. And I will let you know down below in the comments. If you guys want to see that, by the way, let me know. I might just record it just for the sake of showing you guys the outcome. But essentially, again, it's not something that I'm thinking is going to be bad. I really do have high hopes for these boots in terms of its waterproofing. The waterproof membrane with the resistors did absolutely phenomenal. Now, unfortunately, I believe that's one of the things is I get into, deep waters literally quite often in this kind of job. Not so much at this location because this is the truck I'm on now. We don't, work in those kind of environments. Whereas before, some of the sites were like construction sites, and again, it was where there's puddles, and I think that's kind of what loosened up the materials. If you guys want to hear exactly what I'm talking about, go ahead and watch the 1 year follow-up. Now, in terms of general lacing features, these feature, and I'm not sure if I already mentioned this in the design, I'm pretty sure I didn't. As again, some of the things I mentioned in that video, I did not mention obviously in the resistors because they didn't have it. The new resistors do have this speed lacing system. So if, let's say, for instance, you are, I don't know why you would, but you're taking your boots on and off constantly throughout the day. Maybe it's just a matter of, I don't know, you don't want to wear your boots. I don't see that these, to be honest with you, I look at this as just an additional set of lockdown. Like, to show you guys how I would lace these up, I've actually gone ahead and did it with the left side rather. So essentially, I gotta put this in the light because you guys aren't gonna see it. I have, as you guys can see, tied them like this, wrapped it around and around. It's kind of hard to do this to the camera. And then again, around and around. And again, once my foot is in there, this will expand, it'll tighten. And that's how I lace these up. And that's actually why I think this is a great thing to have. Not for ease of removing your boots on and off. I don't see why that would be a thing, considering why would you spend the money on your boots, on these boots particularly, for that to be, one of the things that you're going to be doing, which is taking them on and off. Now again, I wanted to wrap this video up just by saying, if you guys are looking for something that is overall really rugged, yeah, definitely go for them. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. My Life in the Six, out.